Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Wherever you are, we warmly welcome each and every one of you on our Institution of Global Professionals free webinar. I am Sir Jason S. Humang, a licensed professional teacher and currently teaching at Colantete National High School from the beautiful country of the Philippines, and I will be hosting today's episode. I am proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. I feel really honored and privileged to host this webinar. Also, it's my delight to welcome you all in this Institution of Global Professionals free webinar. Again, I thank you all for joining us today in this marvelous evening, and it's my humble request and pleasure that you will all stay with us until the end. I'm pretty sure you'll have many takeaways and payoffs from this episode. Moreover, you can like, comment, and even tag, share, and mention your friends in the comment box. So let's watch together and learn together because we believe that the power is gained by sharing knowledge. So, like every day, some new participants join with us on our free webinars. So, I have to give a little concept about what an IGP is all about. Institution of Global Professionals, or IGP, serves student and community resource by providing holistic social work and education to create a proficient generation. IGP is a leading online skill development institute with thousands of learners worldwide. We are able to share information useful to expand knowledge, boost confidence to face any circumstance, and most importantly, to develop own skills. We are being entrusted with international recognition. Apart from that, IGP also provides social works because we believe that it's not effective to increase one's skills just by acquiring formal education. And so, we provide effective training and consultation to produce proficient generation all over the world. IGP also organizes webinars, trainings, offline and online courses by the best and trained speakers, coaches from the entire world to create a blessed learning platform for you all. Our mission is to empower people and provide each student a solid foundation of knowledge and skills to help them become a confident learner. And now we have completed 332 episodes successfully. We hope that you are getting benefited both in personal and professional life, and we wish that you all stay and remain with us throughout this journey. Before we begin our program, let me remind you once again, our lovely audience, to share, tag, comment, and mention your friends in the comment box because your attachment encourages us to do better and provide our best services to you all. And now, I am really excited to present to you our webinar number 333 for the last episode of our webinar series in Research Comprehensive Approach. And today's research topic is research data collection and data analysis. And our speakers for today are Dr. Jaime Regine and Dr. Arnold D. Alvaro from the country of the Philippines. So let's start our program with IGP's mantra, feed your skills. Our first speaker is a teacher 3 at Casillejos National High School, Schools Division Office of Zambales. He took his Doctor of Education at President Ramon Magsaysay State University, and he's currently teaching Filipino at New Era University. Also, this is his second time here in IGP. Right, so ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome on screen Dr. Jaime Regine. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
I'm fine, sir. So I'm going to share my screen.
All right. So, yeah, if you're ready, sir, then take it away.
Okay, sir. Is it okay, sir?
sir.
Okay. So, good day, everyone. So, I'm Jaime Araguine, Teacher 3 of Casillas National High School. Actually, I'm finished my master's degree at New Era University. I'm not teaching at New Era University Filipino, but teaching at Casillas National High School. So, my topic to share with you today is the data collection. So what is data collection? Data collection is defined as the procedure of collecting, measuring, and analyzing accurate insights for research using standard validated techniques. A researcher can evaluate their hypothesis on the basis of collected data. Data collection is the process of gathering and measuring information on variables of interest in an established systematic fashion that enables one to answer stated research questions, test hypotheses, and evaluate outcomes. Responsible conduct of research. It presents the administrative procedures, the actual data collection process, permission and approval from the head of the institution agency where the research data participants are taken and connected. Data collection methods. Number one is the in-person interviews. Pros, in-depth and a high degree of confidence on the data. Cons, time-consuming, expensive, and can be dismissed as anecdotal. Another one, phone surveys. Pros, high degree of confidence in the data collected, reach almost anyone. Cons, expensive, cannot self-administer. Another one, mail survey. Pros, can reach anyone and everyone, no barrier. Cons, expensive. Data collection errors, lag time. Web or online survey. Pros, cheap, can self-administer, very low probability of data errors. Cons, not all your customers might have an email address. Be on the internet, customers may be wary of divulging information online. Experiment. To test a causal relationship, manipulative variables, and measures their effects on others. Observation. To understand something in its natural setting. Measure or survey a sample without trying to affect them. Ethnography. To study the culture of a community or organization firsthand. Join and participate in a community and record your observations and reflections. Archival research. To understand current or historical events, conditions, or practices. Access manuscript, documents, or records from libraries, depositories, or the internet. Secondary data collection. To analyze data from populations that you can't access firsthand. Find existing datasets that have already been collected from sources such as government agencies or research organizations. Data collection guide. If appropriate, clear official channels by getting formal permissions to carry out your study as soon as you have agreed on your approach with your supervisor. Speak to the people who will actually be asked to cooperate, as distinct from management who give permission. Decide what you mean by anonymity and confidentiality. Decide whether participants will receive a copy of the thesis or your research paper. Inform participants what is to be done with the information they provide. Prepare a written outline of intentions and conditions under which the study will be carried out to give to participants. Be honest about the purpose of the study. That is the most important. Prepare the ethical consideration statement. Sample, there were no class disruption during the conduct of the study. Questionnaires were conducted during vacant time of teachers and cooperative learning homeroom of pupils. The researcher also conducted the research during her vacant time, usually snacks time and lunch break, and the rest after her teaching hours. What is the process of ethical consideration? So write a letter of request for permission to conduct the applied research to the superintendent, or if you're going to conduct a research in your own school, you should ask first your head teacher or the highest or your superior in that school. What is the process of ethical considerations? Number two is notify the superintendent, principal, advisors, and respondents in their participation in the research. Number three, full consent needs to obtain from the participants before the study. Number four, the protection of the privacy of the research participants has been ensured. And number five, any deceptions or exaggeration about the aims and objectives of the research was avoided. Acknowledgement of works of other authors used in any parts of the research. Number seven, anonymity of individuals and organizations participating in the research has been ensured. Things to prepare in data collection. So letter of request. So this is one of the examples. You need to ask permission to anyone who is have a highest position, maybe in your school or in the division or in your cities. After the request be done, you need to wait for the approval letter. So this is some sample of the approval letter. So there is an endorsement letter that you may give to any schools. So letter of consent. It is very important also. You ask if you're going to make a survey to a student, you need a consent form. Declaration of anti-plagiarism. So this is for the writers. Declaration of absence of conflict of interest. That is some of the example. So data collection. After the approval of the thesis proposal, the researcher asks permission from the school division office and endorsed and consented by the principal regarding the conduct of this study and administration of the survey instrument to the parents. The researcher asked the help of the grade level coordinators and teacher advisors to disseminate the questionnaire to the parents. The printed questionnaires were given to principal in each school and allotted 15 days to assure that 100% retrieval of the instrument. So after the approval of the thesis proposal, the researcher asked permission from the school divisions and endorsed and consented by the principal regarding the conduct of this study and the administration of the survey instrument to the teachers. The researcher asked the help of each department coordinators to administer the instrument to the teachers. They explained to their teachers the significance of the study. The questionnaire were retrieved personally and resulted to 100% retrieval rate. The collected questionnaires were checked, tallied, and presented in Chapter 4 of this study. Of the study. So references, question pro, responsible conduct of research, website, university, describe, the Pedolonga Research Guide, and a PRIMSO sample letter. Thank you. That's all.
All right. So thank you so much. That was really a fantastic presentation. Right. So thank you so much, Dr. Jaime. Right. So
Sir?
we've learned so much regarding the significance of research data and the data gathering collection. So like we know for the fact that it's really important in order for us to to obtain the information from our respondents, right, sir? And of course, no doubts, our viewers learned also so much from those takeaway information you instilled in our minds. So once again, thank you so much. That was Dr. Jaime Regina from the Philippines. Okay, so thank you so much, sir. Right, so I guess it's now time for us to move on our next speaker. Right, so we are also excited to see him again. Okay, so yeah, he is a master teacher one. He's been in teaching industry for 11 years, a graduated doctor of education, a research coordinator at Santa Rita High Schools Division Office of Olongapo City, Vice President of Academic Affairs, research professor and data analyst at St. Benilde Center for Global Competence, a data analyst in different universities in Luzon and Visayas. Also, he is a research evaluator of IIARI, or the Institute of Industry and Academic Research Incorporated. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome once again from the Philippines, Dr. Arnold D. Alvaro.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
All
Good
right, so
morning.
it's nice to see you again, Sir Arnold. So, how are you doing? So, today will be our last episode.
Okay, after 7 days of this
For 7 days.
7 episodes of this series, so now we come up with this last episode. So I
Yeah,
hope
it's also a
you have
mixed
learned so
emotions for
much.
us, sir. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like what you've said, this will be our last episode in our webinars, and just like what I'm always saying, we've been learning so much from the presentations, from the those takeaway information that you're instilling in our minds, and not just me. Definitely for our audience, this will be a mixed emotion, especially from our avid viewers and to our audience who are consistently following our research episodes. But don't worry, just like what Sir Arnold mentioned yesterday, they'll surely be coming back on April, right? So for more takeaway information in the research. So anyway, sir, I'm not gonna keep you waiting anymore. I know you're excited to share with us your presentations, as they say, save the best for last. Right? So anyway, if you're ready, sir, then take it away.
Hello. Okay. So good evening, everyone. So my topic for today is about the data analysis, sir. So after writing different parts of the research thesis or dissertation, we start with selecting the topic. We start with the introduction. We come up with the research question, the hypothesis testing, sorry, determining the hypothesis. We come up with um, the view of related literature and studies. We also have the methods like determining the respondents, determining um, the research design. We also have what they call the uh, creating the instrument, and yesterday we have the use of Cronbach alpha to test the validity, to test the reliability of your instrument or questionnaire. So after that, then tonight, so our speaker, Dr. Jaime Ragina, discuss the data collection. And after this data collection, we will have what we call the data analysis. So this part of the research is sometimes included in the scope and limitation or scope and delimitation. So um, as long as you have seen your statement of the problem, you can write the the data the data statistical tools that we can use in our data analysis. So my topic for today is not about the computation. I will discuss about what are the statistical tools that we can use for what we call the data analysis. So we have a different or separate part for those statistical tools like Person R, and later on I will discuss that. But this is not the the day for the computation. But I will show you how will we use this kind of the statistical tools. So first, what is data analysis? So it is the most crucial part of any research. So why? Because this will help you to come up with the best result, to the reliable result, valid result of your research. Data analysis summarizes collected data. Again, it summarizes collected data wherein your data will be given after analyzing, after computing those data. So it involves the interpretation of data gathered to the use of analytical and logical reasoning to determine patterns, relationship, or trends. So in the part 4, or in if IMRAD, we are using only 4 parts, but in the old version we have the chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In chapter 4 of the old version, where sometimes other universities still using this. So during the data analysis or um, the results and discussion, so it discusses the relationship of the studies of this one. We have to cite whether the result of the other studies um contradicts, or the result is the same or similar. So that is we have to determine the patterns, the relationship, or trends. So how to do the data analysis? So the discussion presents the data analysis techniques. So for quantitative, no need to present the formula of the statistical tools. And for qualitative study, describe in reasonable detail if coding procedures are used in a paragraph form or numbered. In other university, they are using the paragraph form. In other university, they are using the number. In our university in President Ramon Magsaysay, we are using the the numbered form. But in here in Olongapo City, like Columban College, we have uh, the paragraph form. So it depends upon your college and university. So that is the part of the data analysis. So how to choose the right statistical test? This is very crucial again. This is very crucial wherein we have to think of the best statistical test or tool that we can use. Sometimes we are just um it's very hard for those beginners to choose whether it is right or is correct. So it is for the beginners you must ask questions from the experts, like somebody who are graduated in masters or doctoral, or in your school if you have the research coordinator, you can ask them if your um, statistical tool is correct for that specific question or that specific problem. So again, so now in this part, I will try to discuss what are the parts, what is statistical tools we can use if we could see different questions or specific questions. So first we have to think what is the categorical variables, and also what is the quantitative variable. So first we have the categorical variable. So categorical variables take category or label values and place an individual into one several groups. Each observation can be placed in only one category, and the categories are mutually exclusive. When we say categorical variables, those are, for example, we have sex, we have educational attainment. So those are the categorical. But we have what we call the quantitative variables. So those are the numerical values and represent some kind of measurement. So this one is an example of this one is the age. We have the family income. So those are the quantitative variable. We can these are the numbers. So these are the numbers. Unlike the categorical, this is only a category. So in statistics, categorical also we have this from nominal, something like that. So first, when we will use mean. So first, what is mean? So the mean is the average of a data set. We have to add those numbers so that we could come up with, again, to the answer, the mean or the average. Again, add those number and divided by the number of groups or the number of respondents. So that is the mean. So mean can prove to be an effective tool when comparing different sets of data. However, this method might be disadvantaged by the impact of extreme values. What are those? What is the meaning of this one? So we have to compare data. For example, from this question, is it, for example, question number one, 3.54, question number two, 2 point something, question number three, this 3.85. So we have to compare those sets of data. So whatever this method might be disadvantaged in by the impact of extreme values, wherein some values have, for example, you are asked uh, to scale, what is the scale, or what is your perception for a specific question. Sometimes those person, they are writing four, or they just tick four, other one, and so on and so forth. So this is the disadvantage because 4 minus 1 is 3. This is very uh That's very extreme, or it means it's what do you call this? It is a big difference. So three for the Likert scheme. So as you can see in this one, for this question, how is the this is my dissertation. So how is the stress causing factors experienced by secondary school teachers be described on the following aspects? Organizational factors, 1.11, time, 1.1.2, bureaucracy, 1.1.3, work environment, and so on and so forth. Work-related factors. So as you can see in this one, how is this stress causing factor experience? So I had the Likert scaling, and therefore we have to find the mean of this one. So average weighted mean. So the difference between mean and average weighted mean is that the mean is we have the numbers and then divided by the number of total number of respondents, and then this average weighted mean, there is a Likert scaling, and you have to uh, find the average or the mean. So for this one, what is the profile of the teachers? As you can see in this example, we have the age. Age is numerical. Number of years in teaching is also numerical. 2.7 average monthly income is numerical. However, if in your question, for example, 10 and above, 10 and below, yeah, example, you have that question or that phrases in your questionnaire, you cannot use mean. Why? Because what is 10 and below? That is, we cannot find the what we call the midpoint of that 10 and below and 10 and above. So that is one of the problems in one of other statistician to have to understand this one. So if again, if we have 10 and below and we have uh, 10 and above or above and below in your statement, so think of it, you should not use what we call the mean, because again the answer, there is no specific midpoint for 10 and below and 10 and above. So that's it. So for example, another one, how is the job characteristics of secondary school teachers be described in terms of, we have the job description. So this job description is it uses the Likert scaling so we can find the average weighted mean. And then per job performance, we have in here in the Philippines, we have uh, 1.0 to 5. So whether if you answer, for example, we have 4.51, 4.52, we are in outstanding performance. So that's the job performance here in the Philippines. So it could be, we can use it as we call this, we can use mean for this one. Next, we have the percentage. What is percentage? It is used to determine what proportions of the respondents belongs to a specific category. And another one, frequency. It is used to determine the number of respondents belong to a specific category. In in the results and discussion, these two parts are used in one one table only. So what is the profile of the teachers in terms of age? So we have to count who are one ages 21 to 30, 31 to 40, if 41 to 50, and so on and so forth. So the same sex, age, sex, male and female. You have to count sex, the male and the female. Since the same as civil status, current position, number of years in teaching, highest education attainment, and average monthly income. So, like you're scaling now, what is the Likert scaling? So commonly used to measure attitudes, knowledge, perceptions, values, and behavioral changes. So a Likert type scale involves a series of statements that respondents may choose from in order to rate their responses to evaluative questions from Vogue 1999. So this is an example of Likert scaling. So we have the descriptive rating, we have the symbol interpretation. This is the standard in our university. As you can see in this ones, we have actually I have been seeing some videos in YouTube. I have been seeing um different lessons about this kind of Likert scaling in another university. For example, we have in our university we have 1.0 to 1.74, 1.75 to 2.14. In other university they are not doing this one. For example, if you have 1.0 to 1.5, that is sorry, 1.49, that is never. 1.5 to 1 point sorry 1.5 to 2.49, that is sometimes. So they are using, for example, 3.5 to 4, that is always, because we have to round off 3.5 to 4, 2.5 to 3, 1.5 to 2, and 1.49 to 1 only. So we have to ask, is it correct or not? But in our case, what is the explanation why we use this kind of Likert scaling in our university? So for example, we have four mine that the uh we call this, the computation for this one is that 4 minus 1 is 3 divided by 4. So that was, we have 0.75. So from that one, we have using the frequency distribution table, of what we call this, a part of frequency distribution table is the uh, class interval. We have 1.74, so 1.0 to 1.74. So we have to make that Likert scaling. So that is the Likert scaling. So again, it depends on your university what would be the best Likert scaling that you can use. And before I forgot, this is the standard wherein we have to use only four. So in the old version, they are allowing the researcher to use 1 to 5, 1 to 7, and so on and so forth. But the standard now is 1 to 4. Even in the, if you can read different researches from in around the world, international publications, you can see only they are using 4 scale only. So that we can balance. So from 4 you have 2 and 3, and if you have 5, that is it goes again using the, as we have discussed earlier, using the extreme values. So we have 5 and 1, 4. So that is very extreme or very high difference. So first, this is I will not discuss some of the statistical tools that are not used by other researchers. So ever since that I help those persons, or they asking for my help, we are using this statistical tools like Person R, ANOVA, t-test, and the post hoc to. So later on, so I will discuss that. So these are the statistical tools that we use in analyzing data. So what is Pearson R? So Pearson's correlation is utilized when you have two quantitative variables and you wish to see if there is a linear relationship between those variables. Your research hypothesis would represent that by stating that one score affects the other in a certain way. So the correlation is affected by the size and the sign of the R. So we use this Pearson R. So again, if you could see correlation, the places like that, is there a significant correlation, is there significant relationship, we can use person R. And the other one, we have the Spearman row. So Spearman rank order correlation can be used when your two variables are not normally distributed. It is also not very sensitive to outliers, which are observations within your data that do not allow the usual pattern. So what is the difference of this one? This is the same correlation relationship. You can the question, one of your question may be, sir, the same question, is there a significant relationship between for example, between the stress causing factors and teacher's performance? Sir, can we use Spearman row? Sir, can we use person R? Yes, you can use a Spearman row, you can use person R. However, this is you should remember this one. If you will use the Spearman row, make sure you have you have to rank those answers so that you can use Spearman row. If you do not want to rank those answers, then stick to person R. That's the difference. From the word again, Spearman row, Spearman rank order. So you have to rank those answers first before you can use the Spearman row. Sir, is the answer of Spearman row and um, Spearman row and person R the same? Yes. The answer for Spearman row and person R is the same. You can try it using your Excel so that because there is a ranking in Excel, so the answer for that is the same. So if you can see this one in my thesis, I use this. There is a significant relationship between the stress causing factors experienced by secondary school teachers and job characteristics. Yes, I will use this one. So I used person R. I did not rank, so I used person R. Next, dependent t-test. So one of the problem that I saw in some university and colleges is that um they are not familiar with the use of t-test and ANOVA. So later on I will discuss that. So first we have to discuss what is dependent t-test. So the dependent sample t-test is used when the observation or cases in one sample are linked with the cases in the other sample. This is typically the case when repeated measures are taken or when analyzing similar units or comparable specimen. Dependent, from the word dependent, it depend. So, for example, you have the pre-test, we have the poster or test 1, test 2. So, um, if we want to see if there is a significant difference with the post-test and pre-test, then we will use the dependent t-test. So it depends. So the students' aptitude test scores differ from their aptitude test 2 scores. Is there a significant difference in the students' aptitude test scores from their aptitude test 2 scores? So these two questions are almost the same. However, if you could analyze this one, there is what we call the one-tailed and two-tailed. If you are looking for this one, differ, that is one-tailed. And if you can see, is there a significant difference, that is two-tailed. Again, if you are using only deeper or the for example the intervention is effective, that is one tail. And if you could see the places like significant difference, that is two tail. So next we have the independent t-test. So we have dependent and dependent. So independent sample t-test is a statistical technique that is used to analyze the mean comparison of two independent groups. They are independent. In independent samples t-test, when we take two samples from the same population, then the mean of the two samples may be identical. So for example, is there significant difference on the job characteristics of teachers when grouped according to sex? This is one of the problem that we encountered. So the use sex. So sex from the two from if you could analyze, if I'm not mistaken for this one. Is it here? No, later on in the ANOVA. So in independent sample test, when we take two samples from the same population, then the mean two samples may be identical. So later on, so when group according to sex, we will use t-test if we have two variables. So again, two groups. If we don't have two groups, so if we have three groups, we must use what we call the ANOVA. So first, before ANOVA, I'll discuss first the chi-square. When we will use the chi-square statistic is commonly used for testing relationship between categorical variables. So the null hypothesis of the chi-square test is that no relationship exists on the categorical variables in the population. They are independent. So we're using this, for example, male, female. They're coming from the cities or urban areas or rural areas. So that is, we can use the chi-square. So this is an example. For example, price of complementary goods if it's single ticket or monthly pass. So that is, we can use this chi-square. So next, analysis of variance. Again, if we could still remember that what I have said earlier. So t-test must use if you have two groups, but if you have more than two groups, you must use analysis of variance or ANOVA. So ANOVA, it is a statistical tool used to analyze the difference between the means of more than two groups. If you could analyze this one, this is you must use only ANOVA if you have three groups, but the other university are allowing they allow to use ANOVA for male and female. That is very one of the I will not state his name. So I talked to him. I asked him in private message, "Sir, can we use ANOVA for um if we have, for example, in gender or sex?" No, because that is only two. So, he is reliable because he graduated doctor of statistics in University of the Philippines. So I trusted him. So in my case, I will not discuss it more. So most of the most of the study that I have, so they use ANOVA in if they in gender and sex. However, again, they answer me. They have answered that we must use ANOVA so that we can use it in one table. So we have to follow them so that we could finish our thesis and dissertation. So it depends on their again it depends on their suggestion. So if you are using that, then be it. So that's it. Next, we have there is one way and there is also a two-way ANOVA. So a one-way ANOVA, when you have collected data about one categorical independent variable and one quantitative dependent variable. So the independent variable should have at least three levels. Again, three levels. At least three groups or categories. So for example, you have the age. For example, is there significant difference between the stress causing factors? Is there a significant difference in the stress causing factors experienced by secondary school teachers when grouped according to age? So we will use So the independent variable for this one is the stress causing factor, and the categories or groups are, for example, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to, and so on and so forth. So more than 3. So we use the one-way ANOVA. So your independent variable, for example, is social media use, and you assign groups to low, medium, and high levels of social media used to find out is there are significant in hours of sleep per night. So as you can see, low, medium, and high, you have 3 groups. Next. So your independent variable is the brand of soda, and you collect data on Coke, Pepsi, Sprite, and Fanta to find out if there is difference in the price per 100 ml. Another, your independent variable is a type of fertilizer, and you treat crop fields with mixtures 1, 2, and 3 to find out if there is a difference in the crop yield. So what is two-way ANOVA? So you can use two-way ANOVA when you have collected data on quantitative dependent variable at multiple levels of two categorical independent variables. What is that? For example, fertilizer type 1, 2, and 3 are levels with the categorical variable fertilizer type. Planting densities 1 and 2 are levels within the categorical variables planting density. So you have two variables. Now, there's no difference in average yield. We can use this hypothesis. There is no difference in average yield for any fertilizer type. There is no difference in average yield at either planting consistency or density. Sorry. After when you reject uh one of the state one of for example you rejected um for example there is a significant difference when group according to age. For example, we will use the Foss-Hawk analysis. What is Foss-Hawk analysis? So Foss-Hawk analysis or posteriori analysis generally refers to a type of statistical analysis that is conducted following the rejection of an omnibus null hypothesis. So again, if we reject our hypothesis, then we must use the post-hoc analysis. So we have the different kinds. We have the Tukey, we have the Schaff test, we have the later on Bofferoni and Hom. So what is Tukey? The Tukey test or Tukey procedure, also called the Tukey's honest significant difference test, is a post-hoc test based on the studentized range distribution. An ANOVA test can tell you if your results are significant overall, but it won't tell you exactly where those differences lie. After you have run an ANOVA and found significant results, then you can run the Tukey's HSD to find out which specific groups means compared with each other are different. The test compares all possible pairs of means. So you can see what are the in which part or in which categories or group those uh you can see if there is a difference, which is which part is rejected or not. So another, we have the Schaff test. The same, the Schaff test, also called the Schaff's procedures or Schaff's method, is a Foss-Hawk test used in analysis of variance or ANOVA. Do the Schaff test corrects alpha for simple and complex means comparisons. So complex means comparisons involve comparing more than one pair of means simultaneously. Again, Schaff test. That is Schaff test. You have to after rejecting. Next, we have the Bonferroni on home multiple comparisons. So this multiple comparison Foss-Hawk correction is used when you are performing many independent or dependent statistical tests at the same time. The problem with running many simultaneous tests is that the probability of a significant result increases with each test run. So I will show you one of the one of the site in Google in the internet that you can use. This is statsa.com. If you are some of you may be familiar with this one, I will show you. So I have prepared this one. So this is, for example, I have encoded this one in Astatsa. And as you can see in this one, this is an example of the 2K HSD test. So this is the result wherein the group of A and C, there is a significant. But in A and B, there is no or that is not significant or insignificant. And using the shaft test on multiple comparison, the same A and C. And for the Bonferroni and Home, the same A and C. As you can see, so if you could see in this one, A and B, A versus C, the same, it's um, significant. So that is the use of astatsa.com. So I uh, I manually check this one, and I come up using also the the what call this, the SPSS. So and also using the data analysis in Excel. So I come up with the same answer from this one. So I hope this would help you. Again, that is statsa.com. So I will go back with my presentation. So this is an example of data analysis. So after the distribution and retrieval of the instrument, the researcher organized, collated, tabulated, and analyzed according to the following statistical tools using the software statistical package or social sciences SPSS version 20. So the statistical tools used in the analysis and interpretation of gathered data are mentioned below. So the inferential result was tested using the 0.05 alpha level of significance. So it depends on you if you will use the 0.10, but most researchers and most advisors advise us to use 0.05 alpha level of significance. So next, I use the percentage which is to determine whether the proper proportions of the respondents belongs to a specific category. Weighted mean or WM or average weighted mean was used to determine the evaluation of the parental involvement in guiding learners in modular learning. So this study is the study of Ma'am Princess Navarro that I used yesterday in my presentation too. So analysis of variance was used to determine the difference in the assessment of parent respondents when grouped according to their profile variables, like your scaling. In order to facilitate the interpretation of the ratings of the evaluation of parental involvement in modular learning, the following assigned scale was used: 3.25, 4, 2.5, and so on and so forth. So this is an example of the data analysis. If you could see, there is no t-test because they are again in our university they are stating that in you could use only the ANOVA. Use only the ANOVA, not t-test, so that you will not use two tables. I will show you again the statsa.com. If you could see this one, I will go back. Okay, as you can see in this one, I hope in B I hope there is an evidence why they are allowing us to use two. But this one, as you can see, there is two in statsa.com. So note that when K2, there is only one pair of independent treatment samples to be compared. So the two-kit HD test for pairwise comparison of multiple treatment samples is not conducted. In this case, the one-way ANOVA is equivalent to a test with F ratio is that F is equal to T squared. As you can see, they are using the statsa.com and SPSS. We can use ANOVA. So maybe that's their reason why they are allowing us to use ANOVA even if we have the gender. Sex and male, we have two groups. And that is the end of my um, presentation or topic for this night. I hope you have learned so much from my presentation.
All right. So Thank you so much. Once again, Dr. Arnold D. Alvaro, that was really, really great. Again, yes, sir, you're correct. You've learned so much from you, and no doubt our viewers learned so much and gained so much information from your topic, data analysis, like things like how we can do data analysis, how we can summarize the collected data, and different tests, that you have shown with us on your presentation. So again, thank you so much, Sir Arnold, for not only sharing your knowledge, but most importantly, for sharing your valuable time. So once again, Dr. Arnold D. Alvaro from the Philippines. Right, so thank you, sir. May I request you, Dr. Arnold, together with Dr. Jaime, to please again stay with us in the other line while we wait for the question and answer later on. So thank you, sir. So before moving on to the next part of our program, once again, may I request you all to please support IGP. All you have to do is to share, tag, comment, and mention your friends. We will give e-certificate in the link box later on, and if you face any problem, you can collect e-certificates directly from our website www.eduigp.com. So I guess we are now ready on our quiz competition. All right. So again, to our new participants, all you have to do is type in on the search engine www.slido.com and type in IGP quiz, right? And then you can also type in your name that will appear exactly on your certifications. Okay. So again, to our new participants, all you have to do is to type in www.slido.com and then on um, the quiz code, we have the IGP quiz, right? So you can also um, write or to put in your name that will appear exactly on your certification. So far we have 65 participants on our quiz competition, right? So going 67. Yep, we have 68 participants at the moment. Okay, so again, www.slido.com. And please, after the quiz competition, we still have the question and answer. Right, so on our first question, it is defined as a procedure of collecting, measuring, and analyzing accurate insights for research using standard validated techniques. Is it the data collection or the data analysis? Procedure of collecting, measuring, and analyzing insights for research using standard validated techniques. Okay, so the correct answer is the data collection. And 65% got the correct answer. Okay, so Melanie Obedoza Mara is leading at the moment, and Marivic Lavesilia is our second placer, and Melinda Civil Hispano. Next. Data collection presents the administrative procedures, the actual data collection process, permission and approval from the head of the institution or agency where the research data or participants are taken and connected. Is it true or false? 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so let's check the correct answer. And 100% got the correct answer. Right, so for the leaderboard, Melanie Obedoza Mara, Maravik Lavasilia, and Melinda Silva Hispano. Okay, so we have the same three persons on the lead. In-depth and high degree of confidence on the data, in-person interviews or phone surveys. In-depth and a high degree of confidence on the data, in-person interviews or phone surveys. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so the correct answer is, yep, in-person interviews. 97% got the correct answer. Okay, so let's check the leaderboard. Right, so Melanie Obedoza Mara, Melinda Silva Spano, and Marvic Clavasilia. Right, so same persons. Okay, for question number 4, manipulate variables and measure their effects on others. Is it experiment or surveys? Manipulate variables and measure their effects on others. Is it experiment or surveys? Okay, in 3, 2, and 1, let's have the correct answer. Okay, so it's experiment. Okay, 73% got the correct answer. Okay, leaderboard, Maravik V. Clavicilia, Melinda Silva Hispano, and Melanie Obedoza Mara. Okay, access manuscripts, documents or records from libraries, depositories, or the internet. Is it ethnography or archival research? Is an access manuscript documents or records from libraries, depositories, or internet? Is it ethnography or archival research? Right, so it's archival research, and 84% got the correct answer. Melinda Spano leading, Marivic Clavasilia, and Eglantina Shehu. These are variables take numerical values and represent some kind of measurement. Is it categorical or quantitative? These are variables take numerical values and represent some kind of measurement. Is it categorical or quantitative? Right, so 2, 1, and 0. Okay, so the correct answer is a quantitative, right? So Melinda Civil Spano, Gemalyn Rivera, and Eglantina Shehu are top 3 so far. It is used to determine what proportions of the correspondence belong to a specific category, frequency, or percentage. It is used to determine what proportions of the respondents belongs to a specific category. Is it frequency or percentage? 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so correct answer is percentage. Okay, so Gemalyn Rivera leading, Melinda Civil-Hispano, and Evelyn Waperi. Okay, so top 3. It is used to test the significant relationship of two variables in rank form. Is it Pearson R or Spearman Rho? It is used to test the significant relationship of two variables in rank form. Pearson R or Spearman Rho. Okay, so what is the correct answer? Okay, Spearman Rho or RHO. Okay, so leaderboard, Leia, Sarah, Mary Ann DUC, and John Paul Valerio. Next, our second to the last question. This is typically the case when repeated measures are taken or when analyzing similar units or comparable specimen. Is it dependent t-test or independent t-test? This is typically the case when repeated measures are taken or when analyzing similar units or comparable specimen, dependent thesis or independent thesis. Okay, so let's check. It's dependent t-test. Okay, so John Paul Valerio, Mary Ann D.U.C., and Leah S. Surya. All right, so for our last question, you can use this when you have collected data on a quantitative dependent variable at multiple levels of two categorical independent variables. Is it one-way ANOVA or two-way ANOVA? One-way ANOVA or two-way ANOVA? Okay, so the correct answer is two-way ANOVA. All right, so congratulations to our top 10 winners. Okay, so first we have John Paul Valerio. Congratulations. And then we have Mikey D. Leonardo for our second placer. Then we have Leia Esteria. Then for the fourth place, we have Rodolfo F. Alemania Jr. And then on our fifth place, we have Setiel Marie. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Setiel Marie, fifth place. Right, R. Amores. And then we also have for the sixth place, we have Kyrie's A. Porto. Then seventh, we have Melinda Silva Spano. Eighth placer is Ariel B. Mabansag. Ninth place is Gemalyn V. Rivera. And for our 10th place, we have Marivic V. Clebasilia. So once again, congratulations to our top 10 winners, right? So at this juncture, let's now call back once again on screen our amazing speakers, Dr. Jaime Ragune and Dr. Arnold D. Alvaro, for our question and answer portion. All right, so thank you so much, Dr. Jaime and Dr. Arnold, for staying with us. And the audience, you can start again sharing your question with us today. If you have any confusion, any clarification, and if you wanted to get to know more or learn more on the topic or the discussion that we've had or they've had earlier regarding the research, data collection, and data analysis, then you can share it to us. Okay, so yep, we have our first question coming from Bernardo R. Guevara Jr. to Dr. Alvaro. Can we use gender rather than sex? Again, can we use gender rather than sex?
In my experience in in writing different researches, we use we always use sex rather than gender. Why? We call it even if we are respecting the third sex or something like that, we must use also the sex because if you sometimes they are, for example, no offense meant to everyone, but sometimes I feel that I am a woman but you're a male, so that is the same as that is the reason why we use or the, other university use sex rather than gender.
Okay, so thank you, Sir Arnold. Right, so moving on in our next question. Okay, so another question from Jimboy or Sir Jimboy D. Gasco. Can we use parametric tests for the data collected by non-probability sampling method? You're on mute, Sir Arnold. You're on mute, Sir Arnold.
So, can we use parametric tests for the data collected by non-probability sampling method? Yes. So, any sampling method that you have, you can use the parametric test. So, it depends on how you gather information and if you have gathered information.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir. Right, so from Sir Hazrat Shah Khayan, gender is a social phenomenon or socially created while sex is more biological thing. Yep, gender is a
Actually,
social
that's the
phenomenon
answer.
or
Yeah, the
social.
answer. Actually, that's the answer to the question, the
Yeah,
first
so the
question.
first,
Yeah.
yeah, so on our first question. Thank you so much, Sir Hazrat. To again from Bernardo R. Guevara Jr. So, Dr. Alvaro, what if the results of our study is not favorable?
Okay, that is the what you call the Dr. Jaime Regini what stated earlier. Honesty. Even if you have the result that is not favorable in your research, you must still show the real result or the reliable result. So even for example, you have the intervention. I will give some example. You come up with the intervention. However, this intervention did not affect the for example the academic performance of students. You must still give the result. Not to some of the researchers, they are they're asking the statistician, can we do the research again so that we can have the favorable result. So first we must give the first result, and then you will have the recommendation so that it will come up with the next study, that the use of the recommendation in your conclusion and recommendation part.
Okay, so thank you so much. All right, so from Ma'am Evelyn Wapari, is it possible to analyze Likert scale using means?
Yes, ma'am, because we have the average. Thank you, ma'am Evelyn Maperi. Thank you for always following IGP seminars. I always answering your question. So thank you, ma'am, for patronizing IGP. So my answer for that, yes, ma'am, we are using the Likert scaling. So that is again using the Likert scaling. That is the average weighted mean or the weighted mean. So we use that, ma'am.
All right, so this one is a question from Sir Hazrat Shah Kayan. So, what is the best way to collect and analyze case study research data? Is it survey or interview?
For me, for Sir Dr. Lagine answer. So the best one of the best data collection should be interview in terms of in-person interview so that you have the first hand answer. So as Dr. Hamed discussed earlier, the best one and most reliable and the high what do you call this, I forget the word, most reliable is the in-person interview. So Dr. Hamim, can you add this? if you will want to add.
Yes, most reliable is the face because it is face to face. So you can ask verbally the person if you are interviewing personally the person. You ask what you want so you can see. No, nakikita mo, you can see the answer verbally to him or to her. That's so I think that is the most reliable answers. I didn't see that the survey is not reliable, but the most reliable is the face-to-face interview. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Mhm. From Rabi Alcohol, okay, so from Sir Rabi, so many of the speakers, is it necessary to use a statistical tool if the statement of the problem goes like this way? Is there a significant relationship between the online games and academic performance of the students?
Okay, I will answer this one. Again, this also the Sir Rabi Alcohol, you are also one of the
The
person that
most
I
active.
saw in, yeah, very and very what do you call this, patronizing IGP all the time. So my answer for that, yes, you must use statistical tools because you have the significant relationship between the online games wherein you can use the person or Spearman Raw so that you can see if the students who are using the online games, for example, uh, uh, they are using online games 5 days, 4 days, 3 days, and so on and so forth. And it affect your academic performance or not? So you can use statistical tools if you have this kind of statement of the problem.
Okay, so thank you so much, Sir Arnold. Deep from Sir Deepak Tripathi. What is context free generalization? Free context free generalization.
I will answer. So,
Here
what is
on
context
okay.
free generalization? So, context free generalization, maybe, yeah, in my knowledge, we did not. I think we did not discuss this one. So, context free generalization. It depends on how will you generalize, or this is your thinking or your perception in such manner or such problem. I think this is the meaning of the context pre-generalization, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So from Sir Sabihullah Arab, which sort of data can be analyzed by two-way ANIVOA? Sir Dr. Alvaro.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your question. So this one, so you using two-way ANOVA from my presentation earlier. So you can use a two-way ANOVA when you have collected data of quantitative. We have the dependent variable at multiple levels of two categorical independent variable. For example, you have example the other one. For example, you have um my example earlier, you have the fertilizer 1, 2, 3, and we have the planting densities 1 and 2. You have two problems in it. So that is you have a multiple levels of two categorical independent variable.
Okay, so another question from Sir Bernardo R. Guevara Jr. Is there a study that need no statistical tool?
Yes, I will answer again. Thank you, Sir Bernardo Arguibara. The same person that asking is since day one. So thank you, sir, for watching IGP since day one. So Sir Bernardo Arguibara Jr. So my answer for that again, is there a study that need no statistical tool? Yes, if you have the qualitative data. Again, the word qualitative. So qualitative data use we are using the first hand statement of the respondents, so we don't need to count, so we just need to give the transcription of what are those words coming from them, so using the recorder or the camera itself. Yes.
Yep. Right. So thank you, Sir Arnold. From Ma'am Sharivel E. Estrada, how can we determine the measurement tool used in finding learning outcomes of online class as the study?
Okay, so thank you again, Ma'am Charibel. The same, the first one in. I thank you for all the persons that is watching since day one. So how can we determine the measurement tool used in finding the learning outcomes of online class as the study? So since you, for example, of this one, we have the summative test. So, so what are we going to do is we have to make for example, if we are just comparing if the online class online class is the same as the what we call this is online class the same as the modular class, so we must use t-test for example for that, or if you want to have if their knowledge is the same as the knowledge when they are in the face-to-face class, you can use again t-test.
Right. From Sir Jimboy Gasco, is Likert scale, ordinal, or interval can we use inferential statistics in qualitative research?
Again, so this is from you have from the word order, you have ordinal 1 2 3 4 hierarchy, so that is we use ordinal, so we have the Likert scaling, so you have scaling ordinal. And can we use inferential statistics in qualitative research? So my answer is no, because qualitative research we don't need any statistical tool because we are just encoding their answers.
Okay, thank you, sir. So from Marisa, I'm sorry, Villamore, what should be the best ways to analyze data collection?
What should be the best way to analyze the data collection? So we have different data collection right now. We since the pandemic began, we have the Google Form. This is the best data collection that we can have. We also have the Google Meet. We also have the Messenger, so that we can have the in person where face to face, sorry, face to face interview. So that is one of, and the best way to do that again, it depends on what is your research design or your research method.
Okay, so our next question from Sir Abdullah Danish, which method best suits academic researches in education?
Um, which method best? Again, so thank you, Sir Abdullah Danish. So, which method best suits academic researches in education? It depends on the statement of the problem that you have. So, it would answer what would be the best method. For example, if you are looking for the attitudes, if you are looking for the factors, that you can use the descriptive method or design. So that is my answer for your question. It depends on your statement of the problem, sir.
Okay, so I think that ends again our question and answer portion. And I think that concludes our webinar for today. All right. So thank you so much to our amazing speakers who have contributed a lot in today's episode. And of course, not just today, but from the entire series, especially to Dr. Arnold. So he's been so helpful, especially on our question and answer portions. Right. So thank you so much for our for today's topic, the research data collection and data analysis. So like once again, never-ending gratitude to our magnificent speakers, Dr. Jaime Regine and Dr. Arnold D. Alvaro, sir, for sharing their precious time and expertise with us today. So before we finally end our last day of our webinar series in research, so like any last or final word, Dr. Jaime and Dr. Arnold. So like especially to Dr. Arnold, because again he's been with us for 7 days, right? So for like for from the part one until now for our part seven in our webinar research webinar series.
Sir Jaime, you can say anything to say.
Okay, I would like to thank IGP, of course, for being giving the chance to become a the second time around to become a speaker, and of course, all of the participants from day one up to today. Thank you very much. So, Sir Jay, thank you. Sir Arnold, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Yes, to Dr. Arnold. So like what
Okay,
can you say, sir?
again, okay. Thank you again, IGP, for giving me opportunity to give also opportunity to to my friends, to my new friends in Facebook who are messaging me since my first speakership in IGP. I have gained so much friends inside and outside the country, and I also have they are also asking me to help them from in their thesis and dissertation, in their action researches, and then I hope, since my first presentation here, I hope you have learned a lot from me. I hope also you can in you can you must you I invite you to watch again our second series. Our second series actually is near in my near in my heart. We're in a special program in the arts, so the arts and teaching in the next day. So however, I will not always be around guiding them, but I hope you must watch them because they will give what we have learned, what we have learned, and what are we going to give to those students, so that you could learn and um, you could experience what are the at your son, your children, your brothers and sister could experience while doing this kind of teaching. So I hope again, thank you very much, IGP, and to everyone watching since day one, especially those person who always asking questions. We are overwhelmed if you are asking questions for us, and so that we could we could answer your questions, and I hope you again. I hope you learn a lot from us since day one. Thank you very much, everyone.
Right, so that is for sure, sir. Right, so we've learned so much, so much, so much takeaway information from day one up until now. Right, so thank you, thank you, thank you so much as well to our amazing speakers, Dr. Jaime Regine and Dr. Arnold D. Alvaro from the Philippines. Okay, so dear knowledge seekers, I would love to thank you all again for attending today's session, and hopefully you've learned something new and something interesting once again today, right? So please leave a review or a comment our page if you learned something wonderful on our discussion. So like once more, do not forget to collect your e-certificate and to give a check-in with IGP. Again, please spread the information with your friends, and we hope to see you all on our next webinar. All right, so for our IGP code, it's 3872. Okay, so again, for our IGP code, it's 3872. Okay, so thank you so much for staying with us, and I hope to see you all again on our next episodes. I am Sir Jason S. Yumang, saying thank you, be safe, and stay happy always. Thank you.